getting ready to seize your first opportunity to come into the ring and start grandstanding and hot dogging, yeah!
I can't help it that I look good, smell good, can dance all night long.
When we speak, our voices are heard. We all say, I bring it.
So what's up, everybody? Welcome to Malice Smack Talk. We're waiting for Masonic Vader.
Waiting for shit. We're going live. We're
going live.
We're ready.
We're
here. The talent is here. Masonic Vader is trying to figure out what's going on. He's having old man syndrome, like Vince McMahon, coming in and making choices for the WWE when he shouldn't be. Let's let Masonic Vader do what he does best. Let's let Masonic Vader do what he does best and stay in the production room.
There we go.
Mindfreak, how's your week going, buddy?
Not too bad, buddy. Yeah, I was on assignment last week. Had some stuff to take care of, but was able to make sure my picks got in. But overall, pretty good. How are you doing, Bearded One?
You know, I'm not going to lie. I'm having a kind of a what-if kind of day. But, hey, we're recording. It's recording night. No matter how shitty of a day I may have, Wednesday nights always means recording night. So can't go wrong there.
Never go wrong with recording.
So if you guys are listening and watching us on Twitch, then welcome. Appreciate you guys being here. We're going to have a recap show from this weekend's Elimination Chamber, go over our picks, some thoughts, some reactions, and some announcements this week. Got a couple of pretty big ones.
Pretty big announcements.
Actually, you know, I say we start that first, and then we finish up with the picks from this Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. So
I think what it comes down to, we were talking about this in the past, how it's kind of delayed. Usually right after Royal Rumble, we start getting announcements leading up to WrestleMania weekend. Why? Because WrestleMania weekend always entails the WrestleMania or WWE Hall of Fame ceremony. And we finally got our first announcement. And I got I got a question for you, Mr. Mindfreak.
I got a question for you, too.
Are you ready?
Oh, I'm ready. I am so ready. My next question is...
ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, the Generation X proudly presents the new tag team
WWE Tag Team Champions of the World.
Road Dogg Jesse James, the badass Billy Gunn, X to the Pack, HBK, Triple H, China. China is finally coming into the Hall of Fame because this year, the very first announcement of the WWE inductees, D-Generation X. Now, I know where you stand. I know where I stand. I know where Masonic Vader stands. Masonic Vader, when he talks factions, he's talking, you know, the Four Horsemen. He's talking the Von Erichs, just because he watched wrestling in the 60s. When we talk wrestling, we're talking NWO. We're talking the Brood. We're talking the Ministry. We're talking the Corporation. But when it comes down to it, no faction was bigger in the Attitude Era than D-Generation X.
Well, not even in the Attitude Era. Even like when they did like the Raw 1000 and then like the Raw 25 years and all that stuff.
You mean like when the New Age Outlaws won the tag team championships?
That too,
like 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Or the same year when DX makes an appearance and Triple H beats Sting at WrestleMania.
Yeah, exactly. Like when you think of like factions, like no other faction stands out more than DX in like within like the last 20 years. Not to take anything away from the Four Horsemen and all the other ones from back before our time. And yeah, shameless plug on your age, Vader. It was DX. Growing up, it was DX. It was DX versus so-and-so. It was DX versus The Rock. DX versus Stone Cold. New Age Outlaws versus Rock and Sock. Just so many different things. Edge and Christian, the Hardy Boys at one point were part of it. So it's not, I mean, yeah, you have your core group of DX members, the ones that are the inductees, but DX has gone through such an evolutionary change, too.
And what it comes down to, when you think about DX, you think of DX, there's essentially two DX groups. You have Shawn Michaels DX, and then you have Triple H's DX. And Shawn Michaels DX consisted of obviously Triple H, Shawn Michaels, Chyna, and Rick Rude. Which is odd because despite him being in the video montage of D-Generation X, he's not even been announced. But I always looked at Rick Rude as a secondary character. You obviously had your Hunter and Shawn and Chyna, and then you had the the New Age Outlaws and X-Pac come in too. But then I consider Rick Rude like that secondary tier, you know, Rick Rude, Stephanie McMahon, because she was part of DX too.
Yep, she was.
You know, back when she was SMH. And we can't forget Tori.
Nope.
Tori was a member of D-Generation X. She held the women's title before, you know, she was, you know, with X-Pac while he had the European title and hardcore title, and was with them for a long time, walking the green and black until she switched to the red and black, and Kane won her heart or whatever it was, you know. But yeah, it's, you know, so obviously we got the original DX, which was Hunter and Triple H. Hunter and Shawn Michaels in China, but then we got Triple H's DX when Shawn went down, you know, and that's when we got the New Age Outlaws and X-Pac to go in there. And to be honest, I honestly believe that the DX was the beginning of, you know, there's a cornerstone of the Attitude Era, and that's Austin 316 just whipped your ass. That's essentially what people believe to be the starting point of the Attitude Era.
Yep.
And when it comes down to DX, I think they're a strong cornerstone of the Attitude Era. When we were kids, like look at today. You walk around, you go to any wrestling event, you're going to see a couple of different things. You're going to see the Shield. You're going to see Roman Reigns. You're going to see the Man, Becky Lynch. You're going to see Young Bucks. You're going to see the Bullet Club. That's what you're going to see around. When we were talking about the DX in the 90s, only thing you ever saw was D-Generation X or NWO.
Yeah,
obviously Stone Cold and Steve and The Rock were on it too. But the two shirts you saw more than anything was NWO, D-Generation X. I remember D-Generation X clothing because I used to get taken to the office and had to turn my shirt around because on the back of the shirt it had 2 words on it, and we all know this, and we'll get to that in a moment. But I think it's a well-deserved announcement for them. Here's what I think, though. I don't think that we're getting DX because it's time for them to be the WWE or the Hall of Fame. I think we're getting DX because this is their introductory into getting China into the WWE Hall of Fame. I'm hoping, because if you look at who came out and made the announcement, Triple H, who wasn't there with him and is by his side every announcement on every other show.
Stephanie.
Politics aside, obviously we know that story and that background right there. I think this is the opportunity for them to they've been mentioning China more and more the last year or so, especially with as big as a women's revolution goes. My thought is, if we're going to get Becky versus Ronda for the main event of WrestleMania this year, or even if it's Becky, Ronda, Charlotte, whatever it comes down to, we have a women's match headlining WrestleMania potentially.
Yeah.
What better opportunity to bring China into the WWE Hall of Fame than in the same year and the night before that the women evolution headlines WrestleMania?
Oh, absolutely.
So I think that's what's they're missing here. Hell, we can game both of them meet at the same night. But I hope that this is the introductory, is them leewaying into her coming in as her own. She rightfully deserves that. And if that happens, we're already getting Shawn Michaels as a 2-time Hall of Famer. I believe the only other 2-time Hall of Famer is Ric Flair, right? Because there's nobody else yet.
Yeah, I was about to make that point. Shawn Michaels
will be second, and obviously when it comes time to it, Triple H will be in there also. Now that this is him being brought into Hall of Fame, even as an active roster member. But I think that this is going to lead up to China eventually becoming a 2-time Hall of Famer, unless this is their way of getting her in there without having to have a ceremony for her herself. Who knows? I don't know. Either way, DX first announced for the WWE Hall of Fame. It's fantastic. I can't wait to see that speech because it's going to be fantastic.
Oh, it is.
You know it's a headliner because with all 5 of them up there, there's no way they're going to be able to keep it to like 20 minutes. It's going to be like an hour just for them. Road Dogg gets that.
Road Dogg going forever.
So and
what was it? I saw it was after it was posted. It was somebody put the clip from their presidential speech saying that we will no longer say this, or this. If they redid that speech, they're not going to, but if they redid that speech but as Hall of Fame references, that would be pretty funny.
Yeah, that place is going to go crazy. Anytime Road Dogg gets on the mic and starts shouting it out. I mean, he just did it 3 weeks ago, and everyone went crazy. But if you're not down with DX being inducted to the Hall of Fame, we got two words for you. And they are.
We got 2 words for you.
Damn right. So, on to some more news. We had on Raw and SmackDown this week. Actually, we'll get into that news later. Let's get to our predictions from WWE's Elimination Chamber event pay-per-view on Sunday night. 7 matches. Before we get into the matches, what was your overall thought about the pay-per-view?
Overall, I thought it was decent. Like, it could have been better and stuff like that when you think Elimination Chamber compared to what it was last year. Like, last year, Elimination Chamber was, fantastic, phenomenal. This year,
was, because I was there. I remember.
Well, yeah, exactly, yeah. This year, it was good. I mean, there were some good pops, but it just didn't feel like an Elimination Chamber, like, pay-per-view to me, based on some of the old, what we've seen in the past and stuff like that. It just felt a little lackluster. I mean, yeah, there were 2 Elimination Chamber matches. Yeah. So.
Okay. I'm going to completely disagree with you on that. I think this was a fantastic card. Given some of the matches could have gone a little differently.
Yeah.
But I don't think there was a single match on the card that I was disappointed with. You can look at the Ronda Rousey Ruby Riott match and the fact there's only 1 minute and 40 seconds as a unfortunate event, but I think the story that was told after the match is what made that which is why I'm okay with that being I don't even necessarily think it was a squash match, even though it was, because nobody expected Ruby Riott to be in a grueling match with Ronda Rousey. Let's be honest. But everyone knew Charlotte was going to be on the ringside. No, I don't think anyone knew that Becky was going to show up, but everyone I think was paying attention to that match to see what was going to happen afterwards, and that was fantastic.
I will give you that. That was one of the. We all have our own opinions, stuff like that, based on it. But there's just I knew that match wasn't going to be long. I was like, it's just going to be setting up something, especially Charlotte being ringside. But like you said, what happened after that match was you just keep expanding on this elaborate story that you had between Ronda, Charlotte, and Becky. And ladies and gentlemen, in the Twitch chat, give it up for the man, the myth, the old guy that can't figure out what to do with his computer, Mr. Masonic Vader.
You know what?
You mean this guy
I
here wearing the 2 words, suck it?
I actually almost thought that was Road Dogg Jesse James over there.
I know, for just a second.
Thank you.
Do you have the parachute pants on to go also?
No. I've actually got slacks on, unfortunately. Sad as it is.
This is the producer here. Were you just missing the show because you were waiting to go change your clothes?
I think it's exactly what it was, to be honest.
No, I'll just say that I've had a Steve Weiser or 2 while I was waiting for this computer to reboot itself.
All right. Well, welcome to the show.
What was your computer that you were able to go through too before?
We're not going to go there, dude. Didn't you see my comments? Lodestar, comma 1 for all you Commodore fans out there. Absolutely. Slightly upgraded.
Extra smack talk tonight for Masonic Vader.
No, you got. I've been listening the entire time. You guys are rocking and rolling. Let's keep moving and grooving.
All right, so we're just talking about first initial before we get into matches. What was your initial thoughts about the card itself?
I thought the card was pretty good. There was some definite lackluster performances.
By who? By who?
Well, okay, so the Ronda Rousey match. I heard you guys start talking about it. To me, it just seemed like it wasn't even like a filler. I mean, Ruby Riott didn't even last but 5 minutes. That was probably one of the quickest matches I've seen. Whatever, it was an awfully quick match. There wasn't really anything to it. The women's Elimination Chamber match was phenomenal. Seeing Nia Jax, that match was amazing. Yeah. The men's Elimination Chamber.
Whoa. You're getting way too far, man. We're gonna break it down.
My bad. Okay.
Just wanted your initial thoughts.
I thought it lacked a little firepower from last year's. As I heard that you were there.
Yeah, I was.
I remember that.
And I was just saying that I thought that this was a damn good, solid card. I don't feel like there was any moments in the card where I was like, wow, how much time do we still have? There was a point where I looked at the clock and I'm like, wow, this card's almost over. Like, this does not seem like it's been this fast. So I don't know. I was completely satisfied with it. I was actually thinking that this is probably one of the best pay-per-views we've had in a while. Like,
I can definitely tell you there was some shock value to that.
Absolutely.
I mean, with all the events prior to that, all the way to the day before, there was. I mean, you and I, all three of us, we were making comments the day before about when certain situations came up with certain individuals, thinking, "Oh, well, that's a sure bet," and then sure enough, hey, look what happened. So
let's jump right into the matches then. Pre-show match: Buddy Murphy for the Cruiserweight title defeated Akira Tozawa. I mean, we had a clean sweep with Buddy winning the match. I don't think anyone really thought that Tozawa was going to just dethrone him this early. I mean, it's given. He's had the belts since October. Is that when the Showdown Under was?
Down Under, yeah.
Yeah, or the Super Showdown.
Super Showdown, yeah. So
we're going on 4 months now. I think he's going to retain the belt until WrestleMania. See what happens there. But I thought that was a pretty decent match. Went over 10 minutes. Gave us what we wanted to, what they do for the pre-show. I personally feel that should have been on the main card, and we could have put the Corbin and Strowman match on the pre-show.
Preach on, brother.
It's, DQ match. Obviously, we all saw what we got. We knew that they were going to get that. I was surprised that we didn't get no help for Braun Strowman. But what are your thoughts on that match? Vader, go ahead and jump in on that one.
Yeah, so we kind of expected it once no DQ happened. We obviously we picked different kind of ways of doing it, but when seeing everyone come out again, Lashley and Corbin and whatnot, with the help of Drew McIntyre, it was good to see Drew out there. It was nice to see the unity of it. I mean, it's kind of cool that they've got a little faction going on, but it was expected. It's definitely expected. The ending, going through 2 tables, I'm sure that probably that didn't really do nothing to Braun. It just broke some tables, but it looked cool.
I mean, and they made a comment like, "Oh, the triple power bomb through tables not done by this group, but done by another group in the past." Like, really, let's let the Shield die for a moment. Like, come on, guys, come on, Michael Cole, you're better than this. Maybe he's not. We know he's not. Mindfreak, what are your thoughts on the match?
Just I know. I think
what Vader said.
What Vader said. Exactly, 100% what Vader said.
Dynamite drop in.
Boom. No. I mean, we've seen Braun and Corbin matches in the past, and like I had a thought, and it's just gone now. Give me a second. What were your thoughts on the match?
Not the best color comment in the world for nothing.
No.
Damn it, Saxton.
I went full Saxton right there.
We'll go ahead and jump into the next match then.
Yeah.
What we're going to leave the chamber matches until the very end.
Cool.
So let's go with the tag team match. We had the lone tag team match. Despite us getting new Raw tag team champions last week, I would have been okay with them adding that match on there. If we would have added another 10-minute match, this still would have been a card under 4 hours, and I would have been okay with that. Yeah. So we did. There was obviously three championships that were vacant from this card, so that kind of brings it down a little bit too, I guess. But the Usos versus The Miz and Shane for the SmackDown Live Tag Team Championships. I think out of all the matches, this was by far the shock of the night.
And let's just say it wasn't because of the fact that we talk about all the time. The Usos is the best tag team, the tag team out there right now. They are the best. They have the best. They work together the best. I mean, obviously, they've been around since day one-ish, and they've been rocking it. But man, like we talked about, day before kind of thing. I don't know what's going on with WWE because what happened the day before, the allegations and whatnot, which they haven't really jumped in too much of since, would have eliminated somebody from winning a belt. And it's like they were like, whatever.
I didn't get a chance to look at it yet, but I'm pretty sure the last time that Jay got arrested, I believe they won the tag team belts right after that at that next event also, like the week later. So I don't know. Maybe there's something going on.
Yeah.
It was Jimmy this time. Total Ballas is coming to a close. Total Divas is going to be coming up. I don't know. For all it's worth, it could have been Vince saying, Jimmy, go out there and make some noise. And we'll cover your back. You're still going to get the titles that weekend. You know, and who knows? Maybe it's something that's going to feed a storyline because Naomi was involved in it also. They're both on Total Divas. So I don't know. It was surprising because I didn't think that, as much as I thought that they could have won, I didn't think they were going to get the belts. One, because of that, but two, I've been talking about it for months now. I thought that Shane and Miz would at least have the belt for at least another month before we started that storyline. And even after the match and come Tuesday night, still not seeing anything of a feud that's starting to start with them. So they're still buddy.
Well, I think maybe the feud might take place after Fastlane and kind of lead up something that because
it'll happen during Fastlane. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah,
they got their setup. They got their they got their rematch. They got set for pay-per-view. What perfect spot would it be to have the Miz go heel again and set up everything, or go ultimate? Well, I mean, either heel or ultimate face, whichever way to go.
Wait, he's got to
ultimately.
Go face.
He has to go face.
If Daniel Bryan is heel of all heels right now, you can't have heel versus heel. That doesn't make sense.
And it's setting up perfectly because it's going to be in his hometown with his dad being there.
There. That's the key item. They made it known and made a fact that his dad is going to be there up front. So perfect transition for him from Shane to turn, and the final be you've disappointed your dad again. Not only you just disappoint me, disappointing your dad. Like, what kind of loser are you? You know, it just writes itself.
It's like a Vince Russo plan or something, you know?
You had to drop the Vince Russo.
I did. I went full Saxon on that one, guys.
Jeez.
But yeah, so Usos, that's now 6-time tag team champions. I believe, if I remember correctly, I believe there's only 3 other tag teams that have had 6 times.
And one of them,
Edge and Christian, the Hardys. I believe those are the only 3 teams. Oh, New Age Outlaws.
Yeah, New Age.
So 4. So this might be the 5th team to have 6 tag teams, possibly. Hold on, I gotta fact check this because I know I did a tag team countdown the other day.
While you're looking that up, not to go off on a tangent, since we're talking about things that have been mentioned, gotta give props to Corey Graves and the announcement team for keeping things kind of like squashed for all the stuff that's going on right now with them, huh? I thought Corey Graves did a good job announcing the show. And it was good to hear that no one jumped on that right now. I'm sure it'll be something that comes out sooner or later, but Corey Graves did a professional job.
I mean, if you look at reports that came out after that, apparently the divorce is already almost final.
They're like separated or something.
And they've already been separated for like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah, the divorce is nearly final. Like, so it's like, okay, well, I didn't really look into the details of it all, if it happened before it happened or after while the divorce is processing. I don't know. I don't really care. But if that's the case, then it's like, you know, what I thought was like, here we go. We have, and we kind of got some snide comments from Renee, but it was like, damn it, Renee, wait. You're talking about this, and we got Mandy Rose out here, and Carmella's out there. It's like, really, bro? Really?
Yeah, first match. Too.
Yeah, that's the thing that
it was like
the first person gets introduced is freaking Carmella.
Yes,
the minute I heard her music drop, I was like, "Holy crap! They're gonna start the show like this."
The last team to get announced was Fire and Desire, so it was like, this is ridiculous. They come on, you guys. I wouldn't put it past the WWE to plant this shit. Like, hey, we're gonna pay you some money to freaking announce this today, and we're gonna take care of you. Tell your wife that we're gonna take care of her if she leaks this stuff out. It's just WWE. They do whatever they want. But yeah, so I don't even remember how do
You're going back to the tag teams.
So yes, so they will be the fifth team to get the break the 6. New Age Outlaws have 6, ENC have 7, Hardy's at 8, and the Dudleys have like 10 or 9. They have 9.
No, they're at 9. They didn't give them the 10th
when they came back. So Usos, a team well deserving of having that to be in that group. Here's the thing: you look at all the other tag teams. They've all had individual runs and by themselves. The Usos, I feel like, with the exception of like the Revival, they're like the true tag team, and they've been a tag team the entire time they've been on the roster. And I mean, I remember an interview a while back, a couple of years ago, that between Jimmy and Jay, and they were like, if we were to ever get opportunity to go for a title run or individual, that'd be great, but we're tag team. This is what we're here for. We came to be tag team. Whether that still holds true or not, but I don't know, that they are a true tag team, and that's what I love about the Usos, and the fact they bring it every single time. So well-deserving tag team championship from them. We'll see how long they hold it this time. I hope they do hold it for a while. The last couple of times were very small reigns, especially before the New Day started taking it from them. They had a lengthy title run, like almost a year and a half, I think it was. It was a long time.
It was a long run.
We had another championship change hands, one that I think is well past due, and we had Finn Balor versus Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush for the Intercontinental Championship. Mindfreak started off.
It was a match, dude.
Wow. Yes, it was.
It was.
Just like Marty said.
No. It was a great match.
I mean, it was in a ring. It had a referee. There was opponent versus opponent.
There was even a couple people in the stands.
You know what really made it a match? There was commentators talking about it.
Yes.
Wow. Man. They're moving up in the world. It's not just happening in a gymnasium anymore.
Yeah. No. I thought it was a great match. I went against my gut feeling with my pick, and for some reason I picked
Lashley.
Just progress the storyline. But no, I'm ecstatic that Finn won, and absolutely, like you said, it's a long, well overdue title for him to hold. I mean, he was the first Universal Champion, and what a phenomenal match that was with Seth Rollins. And that's the thing about Finn. He can put up these really high-tier, high-caliber matches. Like even the one on the very next night, which I know we'll get into in a little bit later on. Overall, I'm happy he has the title, and I hope he has a lengthy title run because of the injury. He wasn't able to have a lengthy title run when he first won it.
Vader.
Yeah, I'm excited. He's the top dog on Monday Night Raw right now since we don't have a world champion over there. So
and the number one contenders on the shelf for the moment.
Yeah. So you've got Finn Balor running the show, man, and I love it because Finn Balor, unfortunately, at his peak with WWE, coming off of NXT, rolling in, winning the championship from Seth Rollins, the sky was the limit for him, and injury put him on the shelf, and it took him 2 years to get back into the fold of everything. And to give him a belt is well-deserving. That guy has put his life, his livelihood, everything on the line to keep him back into get himself back into the game, because right now there are a lot of people that could be in that holding that belt right now that are well deserving, none deserving more than him though. And I think it's phenomenal that they finally gave him a belt. I wish it was the belt, but right now it is the belt until we actually get a champion that shows up every once in a while. And yeah, man, I'm excited. I think Raw is going to be more exciting now, too. You're going to have a championship that's going to be defended every week. And Finn Balor is just the right guy to carry the franchise as things kind of like reshelve themselves,
That is true. I mean, we've seen him do it twice, both with New Japan. Hell, we don't have a Bullet Club if it isn't for Finn Balor. And then NXT. Finn Balor has gone 2.5 years since his last title. And not only last title, his only title on the main roster, which is just completely ridiculous with the amount of people that have held titles on that roster. I mean, we got Ziggler holding the IC title like 3 times last year. Ziggler's had the belt like 9 times total. It's ridiculous the fact that Nakamura's had the U.S. title like 3 times this last year. Rusev's had it twice. And Balor, who is a workhorse, who is always putting on phenomenal matches, barely got his first title in almost 3 years. Hell, he's already had the title longer than he has Universal Championship. That's fantastic. But I think especially after the outing he had at the Royal Rumble versus Brock Lesnar, there was absolutely no way they don't put him over against Bobby Lashley. Given he got the pin on Lio Rush, which I think I'm okay with because I think it does 2 things. 1, it gives Balor the belt, but 2, it leaves Bobby looking strong because he didn't get the pin. If he clean pins Lashley, it does damage for Lashley since it's taken Lashley so long to get some positive heat behind him. Look, the first year he was back, we were, what's he doing here? Like, why? Just go away, Bob. We were calling him Bob. Like, go away. Yeah. So well deserved. Definitely can't wait to see what he does with the IC title. It's going to be. And fantastic.
I like the fact that Lio Rush is not. Hopefully, will get separated because I've never liked this Lio Rush Bobby Lashley. It worked for like a week.
Did you watch Monday? Did you watch Raw this week?
I did.
Did you see Lio Rush?
I saw Lio Rush. I in and out, dozed a little bit. I'm old. What can I say? But I did.
Lio Rush.
He came out.
Balor did his promo, and while he was doing his promo, Lio Rush comes out. Why did Lio Rush come out? To distract Balor so Bobby Lashley can attack him from behind.
Which also set up for something.
But then, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Did I watch Raw? Oh,
yeah, because I do remember something happening after that too.
We'll get into that.
He did destroy him, which is funny because there was a tweet later. Hey, Bobby, answer my calls. Give me a call back on his Twitter that day. That was funny.
I think it's going to set up a lot of things for what we're going to talk about here in a minute.
Absolutely. Next match we had the women. We talked about Ronda. We don't really need to hit that again. That was
we can move on with that one.
I will say that the aftermath with Becky and the crutches against Charlotte and Ronda was amazing.
Dude. Hey, if you can give Ronda Rousey anything, she takes hits. Yeah. That's the second time that she's been lit up by a foreign object and get cut. She got tagged on the side of the head. You see the fact
she came out looking like her Mortal Kombat character.
Dude, coming out of Sonya Blade was fantastic. Royal Rumble, she came out looking like the White Power Ranger.
Yeah.
The one thing I will say is that she does let the nerd flag fly, and that's awesome. I will give her that.
No problems with that here. Shoot.
I mean, we are a wrestling podcast on a nerd channel, so it works out for everybody.
Yes, sir.
Actually, you want to go and get a plug because we have yet to do that, and here we are 40 minutes in.
Yes. Thank you very much to Malice Corp. I'm not hosting this week, but we got to give them props anyways because they are the best channel ever. If you haven't checked them out, please. They have the main podcast Friday nights at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. They also have a ton of other casts going on. They have the Quest for 100, Nerd Comics for All, Nerd Mosh Pit. I know there's going to be some new ones coming on this year. Please check it out, malice-corp.com. You can check out all of our old podcasts, really cool articles, a lot of good updated articles on some of the new comic books coming out. And, of course, they do have a cast every Monday night for The Walking Dead as well. So please check it out, Malice-Corp. Thank you guys so much. Back to the host.
Not every night because they didn't do one this Monday. However, there will be a double show next week. So stay tuned. Now we'll get into the 2 big matches of the card. We're actually going to do them in reverse order from the way they showed up in the match, just because one of them was the first time, and we'll leave that one to last. Second, the first chamber we're going to talk about was for the WWE Hemp title of the world, made of cardboard and wood and whatever else came out of the compost machine. Daniel Bryan defending his title against AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, Kofi Kingston, Randy Orton, Samoa Joe, basically all the heavy hitters, plus Kofi Kingston of the SmackDown roster. I say that because after Sunday night, I don't think we can ever consider Kofi Kingston not a heavy hitter on that roster. We got Daniel Bryan defending the belt and retaining the championship after a lengthy match. It was almost 40 minutes. The last 10 to 15 minutes was probably the best 10 to 15 minutes of the entire card. Once we got to the single one-on-one between Kofi and Daniel Bryan, I don't remember the last time that I was on edge, like, oh shit, like what's going to happen? Like, who is Kofi actually going to win this match? And the fans behind him, the arena was going crazy. It was amazing to watch him get his due. I wish he would have won the title, but I don't think we're too far away from that yet. Vader, what are your thoughts on the EC?
Dude, it was a very good match. It wasn't as good as the one we're going to talk about in a minute, but it was very good. And some of the highlights that I liked about it was the fact that no one got eliminated right off the bat, like super fast. A lot of people stayed into it, which was good.
Well, to go with that, in both chamber matches, nobody was eliminated until all 6 contestants were involved in the match.
Yeah,
so that will give them that. I liked that.
They changed it up a little bit too. They put padding on the outside versus the standard just metal. So I guess enough wrestlers complained about that, and they put the padding there. But as far as the match, the best part about it, yes, was obviously Kofi Kingston. I was actually kind of nervous at the end of the match. Not for the fact that I was hoping that Kofi would win, because I was just like everyone else. I was rooting for Kofi to pull it off. Holy crap! That place would have blew its top. I actually thought for a hot minute that could have been a retirement match, like out of the blue. I mean, the way it ended, the way the fans were, it was almost like they knew something that we didn't. And in all my years of watching this stuff, that's usually the setup for the following night being a retirement kind of like speech kind of thing. So I'm happy to see that he's gone out and said, hey, I am not going anywhere anytime soon. I love this, but best years of my life in wrestling has been recently with the New Day. So, and I'm hoping they really give him the pop, because out of a lot of guys who've been in the roster, Kofi Kingston's been a mainstay, consistent, never gets injured, shows up every week. And anytime you see a match, he's out there doing his thing. And it was awesome to see, to get the standing ovation, the cheers, the admiration. The real moment at the end with Big E and freaking Xavier. All those right small things.
That real moment, the fact that Daniel Bryan won the last match of the night to retain the title, left the chamber and went backstage, and they let Kofi have that moment. That was big. Like you mentioned, like that we see that on retirement matches. And I didn't take that for this one bit. I saw it as they realized what just happened this last 7 days with Kofi Kingston and how organic the WWE Universe has jumped behind him, and they gave him that moment. And that was truly amazing, because you don't see that happen very often.
And it goes to show that wrestling fans now are no longer going to, quote, take it. We're not going to be forced Hulk Hogan as your good guy and King Kong Bundy as your bad guy. We're not going to be forced whatever kind of crap that the McMahons or whoever's running the promotion is going to throw at us. When you've got a guy like Kofi Kingston who's been mid-card, just above, not headlining anything.
Well, he's got his WWE championship.
He's had his champ, but for the last, like they say, 11 years, he's been mid-card, tag team champ.
Not even mid card. He's been tag team and Royal Rumble shockers.
I'm saying individual wrestling. Like in other words, he's not having a individual title match every 6 months. He hasn't had one in God knows how long. So to see him get that love that he really truly deserves, there's some guys in the roster that have just taken their licks and need to get that opportunity finally. And he's one of those guys where, hell, it's been 11 years. Time to give the guy his just due. And we were talking the entire time about Xavier being the breakout, and it ends up being Kofi.
Which I think, you know what, before I get to my next point on that, Mindfreak, what were your thoughts on that and Kofi and just the chamber itself?
So everything with Kofi was phenomenal about it, because it's Kofi. It's like you said, Kofi was Kofi known for some tag team runs, and some amazing shockers. To even the point that this year at the Royal Rumble, all the New Day on their tights and gear and stuff like that had different awesome things that Kofi's did. So the fact that that they're giving this to Kofi, they're letting him run with this, and just how behind the universe the fans are behind him. It's going to say a lot, because when you think about it too, I know we talked about the Usos being like one of the greatest tag teams out there with the championships, stuff like that. But when you also look at one of the other most well-known tag team champions within the last decade or so, New Day is easily up there to be talked about. 5 titles. They held the tag team championships for the longest time. And I know we even talked about it, like, is this like a couple times, like months ago, it was like, are they going to break the New Day up, have them do individually stuff? Or are they going to kind of do like a Shield thing where like they can come together, they do it individually, stuff like that? So we're kind of see that, like Vader said, we thought it was Xavier. Nope, it's Kofi. But I will tell you this, though, the one thing I did like, one of the things that that ridiculous RKO Randy hit on AJ.
Absolutely. But yeah, to follow up what you were saying, here's what I think about that. It's obviously he got his due, and we would always talk about Kofi or Xavier Woods getting the breakout, and then Big E being the guy who had the look to essentially be the guy to break out, and then we're getting Kofi as that. Here's what I don't want to happen. I don't want them to break them up. I think that what we got with this match is that we see that all 3 of these guys can perform individually. So I see that there's no reason why these 3 guys cannot or can go and have singles matches while still being a positive influence and being that faction. Like how many times? Yeah, exactly. Of course, we never saw the Shield have. We did. No, we didn't have the tag team champions in the world and the heavyweight championship at one time. No, so this could be the first time we've seen that in a long time. Given what we may see in the next couple months with Kofi and obviously the New Day being always in the picture for the tag team championships. So yeah, I'm interested to see what they do with it. I hope that this opens them up to allowing them to have their individual runs. There's no reason why Big E or Xavier couldn't go on and face R-Truth for the U.S. title. No reason.
Absolutely.
If R-Truth can have a title, then there's no reason why those other guys cannot have a title.
Exactly.
But you mentioned Randy Orton. Dude, Randy is like a masterful, just psychotic genius. The way
really
he does
is.
Everything, there's a reason he's the Viper. He literally will just slither in the grass and boom, you're done. But I do like the way that the match went. Samoa Joe getting out of there, then Jeff Hardy, and then AJ Styles and Randy Orton. That if this leads to anything, I hope this leads to a feud and storyline between AJ and Randy Orton. We've seen Randy versus Jeff for so long now. I think we're done seeing AJ versus Daniel for a while. I think him versus Randy in a feud, just a regular storyline, no title on it, just who's the best on the roster. Because AJ's been the best for the last couple of years, and before that, it wasn't even an argument that Randy Orton was probably at the top of his game at that point. Before that, also, so I'm interested to see what they do there. That was great the way they went. Kofi getting his due, Daniel Bryan retaining the title. Now on to the first ever women's tag team elimination chamber to become the inaugural WWE tag team champions for the women. Obviously we got the Iconics. We had Naomi and Carmella, the Riot Squad, Tamina Nia, Fire and Desire, and the Boston Hug Connection. Fantastic match. This is probably the one match on the entire card where I wasn't happy with the outcome of the winners. And not because Mandy and Sonya were in the final 2. It could have been to me. Obviously, I thought that Tamina and Nia were going to win that, and I would have.
I think that was all 3 of us too.
Yeah, it was. And my thoughts are on. I'll start this one off first. My thoughts are, obviously Sasha and Bailey do deserve a tag team. Obviously, it's Sasha and Bailey. They're always held at the top of the women's roster just because that's who they are. However, I felt that a heel team should have won the EC for the belt, because then it leads up to the next 2 months to have that feud and storyline for Bailey and Sasha to have that WrestleMania moment and win the tag team belts. What better way could it be to have Bailey and Sasha win the tag team belts, Becky win the women's championship, Charlotte probably could win the women's championship if storylines go the right way and she gets inserted against Mandy Rose for the title at WrestleMania. Yes, I said Mandy Rose because she's going to win that belt from Asuka. That's going to be a squash match. I'm sorry, Mandy. But no, I felt that Tamina and Nia should have won the belt just to have that heel win it until WrestleMania. Vader, thoughts?
I also agree. I mean, we all picked Tamina and Nia Jax, even though I do recall, and I'm not saying I was going to pick anyways, but I do recall when we were thinking about the matches before the cast actually started, it's like they're going to give it the Boston Hug only because of the fact that they push at the beginning, then she gets injured, so it gives her that Rocky Balboa, like, oh my gosh, they pull it out, they run the gauntlet, they win the championship, yada, yada, yada. It was cool that it didn't end up as Nia Jax and Tamina losing I'm glad they didn't make it to the final two. And I'm glad they gave it to Mandy and Sonya, because Sonya and Mandy are the future of the women's division. They're still, in a sense, and they're not training, but they're still new to it. You know, they've been doing, I think, about a year now, and Mandy's getting better.
About a year and a half.
Mandy's getting better each match. I mean, her freaking knee strikes are some of the best. Dude, props to freaking Nia Jax, as I was saying. She threw herself through that freaking chamber. I mean, that was a serious pop, man, and it kind of leads up to the fact that they technically really didn't lose together because she was incapacitated while Tamina gets jumped. So it does set up the fact that, you know, they're going to have this rivalry through WrestleMania. I think all the women did a phenomenal job in the actual match itself. Iconics did the comedy relief perfect. The whole like locking themselves in the chamber and stuff.
You know what? Like every time I see them come out, I'm just more and more appalled by Billie Kay. She's not good. She's horrible on the mic. The way she talks in the ring. I love Peyton Royce. I think Peyton Royce needs to go on her own, just because I know what you're gonna say. Go ahead, make your comment.
Say it.
No, go for it. Just keep going.
No, your comment, man. We know you want to say it.
Oh yeah, Peyton Royce is phenomenal. I'm having a senior moment though when it comes to Billie Kay. She's the modern whatever her name was, Jillian Long or whatever.
Exactly.
Horrible.
That's what we
Garbage.
Want. We knew you were going to say it, so we had to give you your moment because we know you're old and you're going to forget your thoughts.
The senior moment came in, so it needed a second to get rolling. Yeah.
But yeah, I'm just every time she comes out, I'm like, just go away. Mm-hmm. Go back to NXT on your own, please.
Yeah, can we just keep Peyton here, please?
Yeah, it's all the women did a great job though. When it comes down to it, I was very entertained. They did. I think they definitely earned. I think they earned the main event status for that match, and I was very. I wasn't happy with the outcome, but I was very happy with, if you want to call it the outcome, like the overall product was great. It was
maybe not the decision, but the outcome of the product.
Absolutely. Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
Mindfreak, any last thoughts on Elimination Chamber?
No.
Ken said.
All right, so
we love you, Mindfreak. We love you, buddy. You know that.
I know.
7 matches. We had a tie for first place. We had a loser, which is.
And it was me.
You know,
by 1 point though.
1 point. 1 point's 1 point.
But
when you're already down by like 5, it's just that's. 6
I wasn't down by 5. Ken was down by 5.
at the Royal Rumble? Because I'm pretty sure I won by like 10 points. But
because of the extra point. Yeah. But
anyways, because you weren't here last week, you were on assignment. Vader filled your shoes to copy everything I had to say. Literally, everything I had to say.
Yay!
Lucky for him, it paid off because we tied for first place, which is beneficial to him because he lost Royal Rumble. So he made a small step towards coming back in a second.
But I'm still beating him.
You are.
Considering I was mentioning my picks first a lot of the times. Wow. All
right. Actually, we don't. You didn't. We can go back and listen if you want to.
No, no. I went back and listened to it. I listened to it. I listened to it after it was posted. You did not pick first every time.
Not every time, but I did pick, man. First, at least half. I think we went back and forth, and I did show my list to show that it was circled off. I'm sure our video.
You know what, Ken? You want to know what? You just made the list.
Wow. Anyways, he's no longer Saxon. He's David Otunga, who's no longer going to be on TV.
Wow. Dude, pretty soon you're going to go to the pre-show, dude. You're going to go to the pre-show.
I'm about to call you Sam Roberts in a moment.
What?
I'm just joking. I'm sorry, buddy.
Lord Alfred Hayes.
Anyways, 4-3 won the card, which was a great card on my thoughts. You guys weren't too thrilled about it. You guys were entertained. So that's all that matters when the WWE comes down to it. The road to WrestleMania has been paved. It's been driven. And I think we're getting a great product, which leads to what we got on SmackDown and Raw this week.
Wow.
Got a couple call-ups. We had a shocking victory to close out SmackDown this week. There was just the call-outs. We had some NXT surprises. The big four of NXT, essentially, the big guys. So we had
one.
Excluding one.
Excluding one. There's this.
Yeah. Well, Adam Cole, baby.
Oh no, man, no, dude.
We're going to get to that. I know who you're talking about because there's some big news about him. We will talk about in a moment. But we got Ricochet.
Yeah.
Aleister Black. And got the North American champion, Johnny Wrestling. And we got the NXT champion.
Dude, the Purge.
Tommaso Ciampa. Which I thought was fantastic. Here's what's great about it. They had matches on both cards, right?
Yes.
And they won all their matches on both cards. And they were great matches.
Yeah, they were.
With the exception of maybe Aleister Black's match against Eric Young, which
I like Eric Young. You mean Ricochet against Eric Young?
It was Ricochet, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Ricochet against Eric Young. Aleister was against Andrade.
That's what it was. My mistake. I apologize. Yeah, I mean, Ricochet was fantastic. Eric Young not being that great, but Ricochet is Ricochet. Obviously, Ricochet's my boy.
Same here.
But here's my question to you guys. They've been promoting. The WWE has been promoting the call-ups for about 2.5 months now. And this week, we get 4 more call-ups to the main roster, and we still haven't seen the original call-ups in any matches yet, with the exception of EC3.
No, Lacey Evans did put a match or 2 in.
Okay, Nikki.
Yeah, and she was in the Royal Rumble.
And Heavy Machinery put a match or 2 in.
Heavy Machinery and Lacey Evans, I believe, are now together.
Oh my gosh!
I don't know.
I hope not, dude. I hope not. That's only Heavy Machinery.
The 3 of them came out, or the 2 of them, Heavy Machinery came out, and then Lacey Evans came out, and they did their. Here's what was annoying.
Lacey Evans came out both nights, and it was just like a walk down the ramp.
War Machine they were bushwhacking up and down the damn ramp on Monday night.
Heavy Machinery.
But yeah, that's it's I don't know. The fact that they got more matches in 2 nights than the rest of them have out on the main card is kind of crazy to me, but it's fantastic because they're the ones we want to see, without a doubt.
Now, first of all, did we even see this coming? There was no notes. There was nothing about it. I remember when I first heard them announce it, and then first saw I think Ricochet came out first. Dude, Purge. Holy crap. NXT, there's something going on with them right now that they're bringing their big dogs up. 2 of them have championships currently. Talk about it. But yeah, it was to me, it was like, holy crap, what just happened there? Because that's the first time I've seen them do that. It's not that we've never seen them bring people up, especially around Royal Rumble and stuff like that, but to bring up 2 of them that are holding belts. That was
the main belt. The main belt. This leads me into my next question, or my next statement, because to start this, or during the show, after the Hall of Fame announcement, we got another promo, and it was with Sasha and Bayley. And they made a comment that we already knew. Obviously, 1 belt, they're going to defend it on both brands. But that's not the announcement we got. We got the announcement they're going to on all 3 brands, which followed up the statement from Triple H when he was announcing DX getting into the Hall of Fame induction, that, because he had to say it twice because he did screw up on the mic because Raw on Live TV had to correct it, that he's basically in charge of the 3rd brand of WWE, not the developmental brand, not the up-and-comer brand, not the minor leagues, the 3rd brand, okay? And then we get Sasha and Bayley saying they're going to defend the titles on all 3 brands.
Well, I think they show up on all 3 brands. I don't think saying defending all of them, but she said they would definitely be going to all 3 brands. I get what you're saying.
They're not going to go to NXT just to have a one-off singles match for no titles. I mean,
they are Bayley and Sasha. They are NXT darlings. They are for lifers there.
So we get those 2 comments from both promos, and then we get 2 NXT champions on the main roster. Do you think we're leading to a way where we are actually going to see 3 basically top quality brands head to head, no longer a developmental versus 2 brands, but all 3 brands are going to be holding on their own, and we're going to see belts being defended in all aspects? Given if that's the case, I hope that we lose some titles or something happens. But what are your guys' thoughts on the titles being defended across the board now? If NXT, it does in fact become a 3rd lone standing brand, even more so than it already is.
Well, so go for it, Mindfreak.
So with that, because when you think of NXT, essentially NXT is its own brand, but it does have 2 brands. You have NXT and then NXT UK. So that brings up the question: how do the NXT UK titles, are they able to cross over, or is that just strictly just going to stay in the UK? So that's something else that we would have to take into consideration. But the fact that you have Sasha and Bayley saying, we'll defend it on any 3 brands. So yeah, so essentially that's, and with going alongside with what Triple H said, NXT is the 3rd brand. It's like, are we going to have 3 brands? Well, we already have 3 brands. But are we still going to have the 2 on TV, 1 on the network, or like what's going to happen with that? All in all, with defending it on like any, essentially, if you defend any title on any of the different brands, whether it be the women's tag team or even going over to like the Universal, well, not necessarily Universal, you just get rid of that, but keep the WWE Championship, and then have like the Intercontinental United States Championship. Essentially, then what's the point of having a Raw and a SmackDown if you're going to interlock titles? You know what I mean?
So to me, what I think is going to happen is what we've talked about now for a good part of last year, is the fact that with the Fox deal, and our producer mentioned this in the chat room. So if you're not watching this live, you're missing a good chat room here going on. With the Fox deal in play, there's going to be some shifting. Now, we've always said that NXT needs to have the extra time because they have too much talent that's not getting enough television time. So this is their opportunity. I think this is where we are going to see NXT expanded. And I think the good thing about them being able to start blending in the titles in all the shows and defending is because you have the fourth brand that is probably not going to be there any much longer, and that's going to be 205 Live. We've already seen a couple guys get shifted off the show. So now I think what this is going to do is this is going to allow NXT to almost be, I don't want to say a cruiserweight division or anything. They are a main brand, but they are going to be able to allow the 205 group, because when you look at the NXT roster as a whole, there's not too many big heavy hitters, like big guys now, since they've now gotten heavy machinery out of there. They've gotten EC3. Your big guys are now main roster for the most part. So 205 is probably going to get dissolved. NXT UK is going to stay separate. And I think the reason why they're going to do that is because Triple H is hell-bent on expanding WWE influence to a way that it's just not them going out there once a year for a cool show and selling out the house for a weekend or something like that. They want to sell out every week at a venue, branch out kind of like how NXT's been doing, and develop it to where they now have they're getting influx of super talent from Europe and Japan and everything, farming through NXT the way they've been doing it now for the last 7 or 8 years locally, and getting guys like Ricochet and whatnot through.
Yeah, and I agree with a lot of that. I think that we're with the Fox deal that's going to go into effect in about 8 months. We're going to see a lot of things changing and blending of the brands. I don't think we're going to get rid of 205 yet. I don't think NXT's disappearing. I think we're going to get more exposure. Here's the thing. 2 weeks ago, the executive from Fox said that they came out and said they're planning on having more than SmackDown on Fox. So there's going to be more programming offered from the WWE on primetime TV. Well, whether it's primetime or just off show, whatever it may be, middle of the day or whatever, late night, who knows? But if they're going to do that, give more time than just SmackDown, and who knows? We still haven't got a clarification on whether we're going to get 3 hours of SmackDown or not, which we easily can. And if that's the case, then we're going to need these guys to go across brands and really build up. And for the WWE, having more guys, especially NXT roster on Fox, is going to draw more attention for pay-per-view or network buys. And that's where it comes down key for them, because then they're going to get more subscriptions, because people will tune into the actual NXT shows and the other shows, 205, WWE, or UK, NXT, whatever it may be. But it's going to bring more attention to what's going on the network. Yeah. And everyone that's watching on the net on USA already knows that's there. But on primetime, they're gonna get so many more people watching that haven't been watching, because they don't have premium cable or don't have USA, or they just happen to be tuning in like, oh, hey, the WWE's on Fox now, let me watch that. Oh, obviously, whatever happens, we'll see. But I think that's just to get more cross-brand and more attention to the network for the WWE, but to also get more talent on Fox for the network as well.
Okay, now let me throw this in here really quick, because now I know UFC, but I don't watch UFC. So I know what UFC is all about and everything, but I'm not the kind of guy who gets the match every month and stuff. I do know, though, that Fox has a crap load of UFC or mixed martial arts shows that are going on there. At least that's what it feels like, because it seems like
they no longer have the contract with UFC, which is what opened up the multi-billion-dollar deal for WWE to essentially take that place.
Okay, so then let me ask you this: when they did have it, you guys both watch UFC matches, correct? You get the pay-per-views and everything.
Not every time, but occasionally, yeah.
Okay. How did you guys feel about seeing Friday night UFC or Monday night UFC or whatever nights they were on there? I think they were on multiple times at weird times and stuff. Did you guys even watch that, or did it was it good?
It was. So there was a time where Friday Night Fight Night was better than some of the actual UFC cards.
Absolutely.
Because the amount of talent that was being brought up was talent that wasn't really getting the opportunity on the main roster, on the main card, or there were, just more streamlined, just fighting matches, and you got to see more fighting rather than pageantry. Or they do the pre-show before the UFC card goes live. Yeah, those ones I do watch, and I used to watch them all the time. And one reason being, if I'm not going to get the pay-per-view, I've had friends that have fought on those pre-show and Friday night cards. So it's like, if I don't have to pay the card and I can watch it for free, why the hell am I not going to tune into Fox?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I get nervous because since I have lived through many errors of this and everything now,
We know.
Yeah, exactly. You get the Sunday night heats, you get the Saturday night main event, which at the time when it first started, that was actually very popular to show up once every 3 months on NBC at 12:30 at night.
They had to take 3 months to change the dial to put the channel on.
Oh yeah, it was rough, man. But you had all these random ass WWE shows that were just the drug matches. Like, they were horrible, and that's what I'm hoping that doesn't turn into. That's why when they announced the Fox deal, and then they said recently that they're going to have more than one show on there. I don't want them to. I mean, I don't want them to lose the quality of product that they have right now.
Agreed. And when we see like there's going to be an additional show, I can see maybe like we get NXT UK, we get NXT, we get 205, and they're only hour-long shows. So when I say I think that we're going to get additional, I think maybe like an 11 o'clock hour. Fox. Last time I checked, Fox doesn't have any like late night shows, right? Like talk shows.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. So what would be wrong with putting on like an 11 o'clock hour, 1 hour show showcasing NXT or UK or 205 or a mixture of the three, women's wrestling, who knows, I think that 11 o'clock hour, because on Fox, usually the primetime shows are from like 8 to 10. And then there's something on top of that.
Maybe the women do get their own show through Fox.
Maybe. I mean, hey, it would be smart to put on a show on Friday nights, maybe to combat with WoW Women of Wrestling, who, just so you guys know, throw it in there, we got a new WoW Women's Champion in the name of Tessa Blanchard, which sucks because that means that Santana Garrett is no longer the WoW Women's Champion. But anyways, I digress and I come back. So we have the 4 call-ups. Before we get to the what happened tonight, so if you guys are listening to the show, I do apologize. There will be a spoiler in a moment.
Spoiler alert!
But by the time you're listening everywhere, nationwide, worldwide, for your listening pleasure, this will be old news, and you won't. If you haven't watched it, then it's your own damn fault. Same as people get pissed off when they find out the ending of a movie that came out 5 years ago. That's your own fault for waiting that long. These guys, do you think this was just a regular call-up for a week, or do you think we're going to see them more consistently on the main roster?
I think we're going to start seeing more consistently on the main roster.
I agree, because they need that NXT influence. NXT, out of all the brands, consistently has quality matches. The fans are behind it. People can't say enough about whoever you see on that show. They need to have that on Raw and SmackDown, because right now they're hurting.
They really are. I think that not only is they're going to be more consistent, I think this is to help build value in the product of NXT, because you can also now, with these feuds, obviously if Ciampa has a title and he's messing around and having feuds with somebody on the main roster, it also helps bring them to NXT to come after and have a match with Tommaso Ciampa. So it's bringing even main card talent to the main or to NXT roster. Where this is where we talked about in the past. If you're going to have this NXT brand become a mainstay brand and not a developmental brand, you need to have other big talent crossing paths and going back and forth and going to NXT, so that it's not coming across as a demotion of talent or performance, but as, hey, you're being drafted to Raw, you've been drafted to SmackDown, and you've been drafted to NXT. I think that's the route that needs to go. So that's why I think we believe that this needs to be more consistent on the main roster. Which, if they're going to be on the main roster, and we talked about titles being defended on all brands, well, one of those titles we won't have to worry about being defended on because Johnny Gargano, the North American champion, is no longer the North American champion, because of the 5th guy who did not get called up this week.
Go ahead and take
Vader.
Velveteen Dream, baby.
Yeah. Velveteen
there it is.
Getting the belt that he couldn't get from Ricochet or Adam Cole, he finally got from Johnny Wrestling.
Wow. And for you guys who haven't seen the match yet, regardless if we're spoiling this for you, go watch the damn match. That match was a great match all the way through to the very end. Johnny Gargano, you can't say enough about the guy. Regardless if he loses his belt on his first title defense, the guy still puts a quality match together. And what you can say about Velveteen Dream? That guy's been needing a championship around his waist for the last 7 months, and he's come oh so close every time. And when he won that belt, man, that stadium, NXT stadium, popped like it was freaking WrestleMania, man. It was a phenomenal match. It was great. The undercard for the matches were actually really good tonight on NXT. My kid was kind of upset, though. He doesn't like Velveteen Dream. He was going for Johnny Gargano. So sick boy watches his boy lose the championship. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm glad to see Velveteen get a title.
Mhm.
Maybe this is them saying, hey, we're going to give you a title, now shut up and quit trying to come to the main roster. Or maybe it's just giving him the title so he can come to the main roster. Who knows? Fantastic. Great seeing all four of those guys come up and do well in the main roster, especially DIY getting the win over not only the Bar, but the WWE Raw Tag Team Champions.
Yeah, your favorite tag team, right, Bearded Master, dude?
Oh, man. So DIY taking the titles?
Yeah.
Uh-oh. I mean, technically, they are now owed a championship match. They did pin and win the champions. They do get a tag team. Speaking
and they pinned one of the top teams in the Bar.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of SmackDown and pinning the champion,
Wait.
Do tell.
We had a victory. Even bigger than the victory, we actually had an appearance from the SmackDown Women's Champion, who we haven't seen since Royal Rumble. And she made that known.
Which is still 5 more times that we've seen than freaking Brock Lesnar.
That is true. So not only that, she makes her comments, calls out the roster, talks about Becky Lynch, and says nobody's ready for Asuka. And lo and behold, God's greatest creation, the Mandy Rose herself, came out with Sonya Deville by her side and challenged her to a match. And Mandy Rose clean pin in the middle of the ring and beat 1, 2, 3 the SmackDown Women's Champion, Asuka. Who's ready for Asuka? Mandy is. Damn right.
And it was a great match. I liked it. That was probably Mandy Rose's best individual performance to date. And I'm telling you, man, it's amazing. Her striking skills, ever since she's been with Sonya Deville, man, that knee strike is getting freaking pretty vicious, man. It is an awesome knee strike. She has definitely got the timing of that thing down.
Absolutely. Yep. I think it was great. I don't know where this is going to go. Are we going to see Mandy get that title match, which she should because she did beat the champion? Will she win the title? Probably not. I do think that she eventually will be champion.
Yeah.
Who knows? Because obviously Mandy versus Asuka at WrestleMania doesn't sell.
Now Mandy versus Asuka at Fastlane does kind of sell.
It does. I mean, that could be the third match on the card for Fastlane, considering we have a SmackDown Tag Team Championship match with The Miz and Shane McMahon and versus the Usos, and then we also have our WWE Championship match. Daniel Bryan defending his title.
The new
Daniel Bryan, my bad. Defending his title against the man who deserves it, Kofi Kingston. So, look, that's great to look forward to. Great week of wrestling, I personally think, between the call-ups and the shows that we got on Monday and Tuesday. And I thought a great match on Elimination Chamber. Vader, Mindfreak, any final thoughts?
My final thought was one of the other matches I wanted to call out.
Yeah, go on.
From Raw was Ricochet teaming up with Finn Balor. That match was an impressive match. Because I mean, we talk about Finn, you know, how amazing Finn is. We talk about how awesome Ricochet is and how, you know, most of us have been a fan of Ricochet is. But the fact to see those two to team up against Lashley and Lio Rush. Like that to me, that match was phenomenal. I thoroughly enjoyed that match.
Yeah, I did too. I thought it was a great match. Ricochet, obviously, anytime he's in a match is fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Anytime we see Finn Balor in a match is great. The fact that the chemistry the two of them have is amazing, and they have that New Japan background.
Mm-hmm.
So their chemistry, see what they can do. I would not mind seeing Balor and Ricochet team up. If we're not going to get the club or anything like that teaming up anytime soon, I'm cool with seeing Balor have a partner as talented and as high level as Ricochet, and that's going to be awesome.
Mm-hmm.
My 2 cents on the I'm just excited for NXT. Out of all of us here, I unfortunately didn't jump on this thing when it first came out, so I missed the years of having Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns going through. But I've been watching this now consistently for 3 years, and it's exciting to see the roster that they have right now getting the push that they have. It was great to see these guys like get their calling, and it's very interesting to see how they're doing it. And I'm just going to throw this out there. Kudos to Triple H.
Yep.
I think the NXT call-ups this week and Triple H and everything, I think this is where you're starting to see the change of the guard. I think this is Vince McMahon's probably slow but surely exit out of here. I think this was the first sign of it that's going to happen, because NXT has done exactly what Triple H and the Dream expected it to do, and Triple H has been able to make it that much better after the fact.
Well, not only that too, you have XFL stuff coming out too.
Yeah, whatever.
Well, I'm just saying to go along with what you're saying.
And then the other thing is that they did announce on NXT too that they're going to be bringing back the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic, and they've already announced half the roster. The other half's going to start qualifying next week. So there's a lot of good things happening for NXT and for Triple H, and kudos to everybody. Even if they didn't get called up, man, every person at NXT roster, you can tell, actually gives a crap about each other and brings out the best in every match. So kudos to NXT.
Absolutely. Agree 100%.
Yep.
So I did get that little thing there. I guess we're time. I think we've said our piece, and unless you, Marty, you got any last minute things on this last week?
No, I think I'm good. I think we got a lot covered tonight. Great show, great comments, and topics. Looking forward to not only what the outcome is from this last 3 days of wrestling, but what we're going to see on the remaining stretch to the WrestleMania.
I appreciate you guys picking up the slack, because my Atari 2600 was not starting on time for me. I had to blow the cartridge a little bit harder, apparently. So thank you very much, guys, and thank you.
First time.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you very much, Malice Corp, for letting us do this show tonight. We really appreciate you guys. Once again, check them out, Malice-Corp. They have their main cast Friday night at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Twitch, where you're seeing us now. Please check us out on all of our other podcasts that you can find on YouTube and whatnot. You can hear us on Spotify. You can hear us on iTunes. Of course, you can always go to the website, Malice-Corp, and watch the shows there. Mindfreak, other than what they see right there, I think it's on this shoulder here. Where else could they follow you, sir?
You think after a year you would know where it's
exactly.
At,
it's more like right here.
I don't know if you know this, but we're almost about a month away from our 1 year anniversary, gentlemen.
Yeah, we are.
It's been quite a pleasure. It's been quite a pleasure.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So where can we find you? By the way, dude, I just saw. Did you just do that, dude? My freak just did that, bro. Come on, man.
What?
High quality show. I saw that on the replay, man. You were doing this whole thing. Yeah. See it? You see what I'm seeing, Marty? Come on, grow up, dude. All right, my freak. Where can we find you, bro?
Other than right next to my shoulder, follow me right here on Twitch at Twitch.tv.
You can find you right next to your shoulder? I didn't know you having like an out of body experience there, bro.
He's got the devil right next to him.
I apologize.
Sister Abigail is in here.
Yeah.
Anyways, where can we find
Anyway, you can follow me right here at Twitch.
Twitch.tv
/BTV Mindfreak. A lot of gaming action, different streams like their regular stream schedules are Tuesdays and Wednesdays, guys, right here on Twitch, so check it out. With Apex Legend Anthem coming up this week. And that's where you can follow me.
Bearded Master, where can we follow you, sir?
You can find me on the social media outlets of Instagram and Twitter at Bearded Master, as well as my wrestling page of Boot to the Face, Boot the number 2 the Face. On Twitter, just come on in, hit us up, talk about wrestling. Let's have a good time.
And of course, you can follow me, Masonic Vader, on that thing they call Twitter. I'm Masonic Vader, and of course, Masonic Vader 71 on PlayStation Network. And of course, like I always like to mention, please follow us, like us, share our cast, tell your friends about us. We appreciate all of our new fans that we're getting on Twitter and on Instagram, but we definitely want to see you guys enjoying our show and putting comments in there. So please feel free to do that. Let us know what we're doing wrong or doing right, and tell me how much of an old man I am.
And can somebody who's you guys have been checking out, somebody please just get a snippet shot of Vader here with the 2 words and tweet it at Road Dogg Jesse James, you know? Because I think so too.
That's actually a good idea. Yeah, hashtag that, because then we can say we had a special guest on. We had the Road Dogg Jesse James. Oh, you didn't know? Yeah, on our show. Good time. Thank you guys so much. And of course, like we always do, we always finish this show with the 1, 2, 3. Good night, guys.